So picture this, a group with no leader, no headquarters, and no official members. We don't really know who they are, but we definitely know their work. They're kind of like a ghost in the machine, an idea that can topple governments and corporations alike. So what is this global phenomenon we call anonymous? You've probably heard this before. It's their calling card, their mission statement. It's a message that's popped up right before some of the most disruptive cyber attacks of the 21st century. And yeah, it perfectly captures that mysterious and powerful vibe they have online. Okay, so before we dive in, let's get one thing straight. Anonymous isn't a company or some club you can join. It's what's known as a hacktivist collective. So think of it less like an organization and more like a banner, a shared identity that anyone, anywhere can pick up to fight for a cause they believe in using their keyboards as weapons. So how in the world do we explain a group that has no real structure? Well, we're going to look at them through their actions and what drives them. First, we'll get into the core idea of Anonymous itself. Then, we'll check out their war for free information, their role in global uprisings, and, what happens when you get on their bad side. And finally, we'll try to unpack their very complicated legacy. Right, so to really get your head around this, the key thing is there are no membership cards. Anonymous is a concept. It's the idea that a bunch of ordinary people, united by a cause and hidden behind a screen, can come together and challenge the most powerful institutions on the planet. It's basically a symbol of digital rebellion. And that idea of digital rebellion leads right into one of their biggest things, this belief that information and data and even entertainment should be totally free for everyone. And as you can imagine, that's put them on a collision course with some major corporations and governments. A perfect example? Their clash with the Church of Scientology back in 2008. When a leaked Tom Cruise video got pulled from YouTube, Anonymous didn't see it as a simple copyright thing. Nope, they saw it as censorship, and their response was immediate. They literally declared war, hitting them with cyber attacks and even organizing real-world protests. That's what really put them on the map. And what's fascinating is how their missions can just shift on a dime. Operation Payback started as them getting back at firms that were attacking torrent sites. But then, when companies like PayPal and Visa suddenly blocked donations to WikiLeaks, Anonymous saw an even bigger threat to free information. So they just pivoted and turned their digital cannons on those financial giants instead. So we've thrown this term around a bit, DDoS attack. What is it exactly? Well, it's their signature weapon. Just imagine thousands of computers all trying to visit one website at the exact same second. The website just gets completely overwhelmed by all that traffic. It slows down to a crawl and poof, it crashes. It's really just digital brute force. And they were not afraid to use it. When the US government shut down the file-sharing site Mega Upload back in 2012, Anonymous unleashed one of the biggest attacks ever. I mean, just look at this list. They didn't just go after a company, they went after the Department of Justice, the FBI, and all the biggest names in the entertainment industry, all at the same time. But it's not all just about fighting for free movies and music. They've also played a huge role in actual, real-world political movements, using their skills to help citizens rise up against oppressive governments. I mean, look at the Arab Spring. This is where things got real. In Tunisia, the media was totally state-controlled. So Anonymous wasn't just some annoyance to the government, they were a lifeline to the people. They gave them software to communicate safely, they blasted protest videos for the whole world to see, they basically shattered the government's control over information and directly helped the revolution that ended up toppling the president. Okay, fast forward to 2020. After being pretty quiet for a few years, that symbol made a dramatic comeback. Right after the killing of George Floyd, the iconic Guy Fawkes mask popped up in a new video. And just a little while later, the websites for the Minneapolis Police Department and the city itself just went dark. And their message, it was crystal clear. They saw an injustice, they decided to step in, and they promised to expose what they called the police department's many crimes. This wasn't just a hack. It was a powerful signal that the Anonymous banner could still be raised anytime, anywhere, in the name of holding people accountable. All right, so we've seen them fight for big ideas, and we've seen them back revolutions, but there's this whole other side to them. What happens when you make it personal, when you challenge the collective directly? Well, the answer is pretty simple. They hit back. Hard. So let me tell you about a guy named Aaron Barr. Back in 2011, he was the CEO of a security firm called HB Gary, and he made a huge mistake. He went public and claimed he had infiltrated Anonymous and was about to expose all its leaders. He basically threw down the gauntlet and dared them to do something about it.
And oh boy, did they respond. The response wasn't just quick, it was total annihilation.
They didn't just shut down his website, they completely dismantled his company and his personal life. They hacked the site, leaked thousands of internal emails, erased critical company files, and then, just to make the lesson brutally personal, they posted his own private info, his social security number, his address, all over Twitter for the world to see. I mean, what else could happen? The fallout was a complete nightmare. Within weeks, Aaron Barr was forced to resign. The message was sent loud and clear: you don't mess with Anonymous.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? Are these guys digital Robin Hoods fighting for justice, or are they just a bunch of reckless online vandals causing chaos? The truth is, it's incredibly complicated.
Let's just take the infamous Sony PlayStation hack from 2011. It all kicked off when Sony decided to sue a hacker for unlocking the PS3. In retaliation, Anonymous launched attacks against Sony. But what happened next was one of the biggest data breaches in history, and it took the entire PlayStation network offline for weeks. The collateral damage was just staggering. 77 million users had their personal information exposed, and these weren't corporate execs or government officials. These were just ordinary people, gamers, caught in the crossfire of a digital war. And this is where that whole leaderless thing gets really messy. The main Anonymous channels actually denied they were responsible for that massive data breach. But they also admitted that because anyone can act under their banner, it was totally possible that some Anons went rogue and did it themselves. There's just no one to hold accountable. So you see the paradox here, right? It's this fundamental contradiction. Anonymous stands up for noble causes, like free speech and accountability. But their methods, illegal hacks, leaking data, are chaotic and often end up hurting innocent people. They're a force for both order and chaos, justice and anarchy, all at the same time. And that's what I want to leave you with. In a world where governments and corporations have so much centralized power, is a decentralized, unaccountable force like Anonymous a dangerous bug in our digital society? Or is it a necessary check on that power, an essential, if messy, feature of the internet age? That's a question with no easy answer,